research tools, so you're getting more viewpoints as to whether or not you might think a certain keyword or a certain link is good for you to go out and target. So again, going back to this whole team situation, and this is something that I actually am currently doing in Raven. I'm down in Texas, they're up in Nashville, and so we really needed a way for us to collaborate easily. And we wanted to make sure that, if we are sharing a bunch of files together, that, it's easy for us all to be using the most updated information. So, typically people are passing around Excel, Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, and we say, all right, well, how do we make sure that everybody is using the latest file? If you're using something like Dropbox, I guess, you can make sure that something, this was the latest Excel file for the way you're building links for the keywords you're targeting, but wouldn't it be easier just to have an updated system that you could access anywhere? I mean, we have an iOS app, so you can access it on your iPad or your iPhone, and then we could say, all right, well, now everybody can grab all this information, they're using the most up-to-date way, and we can start interacting with each other using that software. So that's really where we came about with Raven. So Raven, just to give you some background, we started as an agency. We were called Sightning, and we were like, you know what, we need to really create some tools that we could use in-house that will really help improve the way we're doing all this work, because it is a lot of work, right? When you're doing keyword research, when you're doing link building, when you're working on your social media, I mean, there's a lot of data crunching that you have to do, and it takes a lot of time, right? So we wanted to speed that up for you. And so that's when we started creating these tools. And actually, it's funny because the interface that you see in Raven is the one that they originally designed for our internal team to use. That really hasn't evolved yet into something brand new for everyone to try out with. But we are a web-based software, so again, you can be accessing this from anywhere. And we try and break up the tool set into 4 categories. The first one is research. So the idea behind research is we wanted to give you all the options for researching keywords, for researching links, for finding social media channels to start participating in, and we created tools to handle each of those components. So when you log into Raven, we actually have a research tab, and there's also research tools spread out even in our social media tab, for example. But one of the things that I really like about the way that we're presenting this software to you is that we have a lot of 2 tools. We have a tool called SiteFinder, and we have a tool called the Backlink Explorer. Now, the idea behind SiteFinder Backlink Explorer is we're going to use Majestic SEO and then SEO Must to kind of rate links for you. We'll do all the research and say, all right, here's a bunch of links that you guys should go out and target, and then we're going to rate them for you and say, all right, based on a quality score, which matches up those 2 components, you can say, all right, these are going to be the most valuable ones. I want to start targeting these now. So you don't have to spend as much time going around and things you need to be a part of. So the way SiteFinder works is you wanted to figure out what people were saying on Twitter, for example. You can really start doing that research all from within the tool set. And the big thing about all this is we make it easier for you to manage all that information. So I'd say that one of the biggest time savers we have is the link manager, because really, typically when you would build links, everybody would be building it in Excel. They're storing all this information behind the link. They want to know what type of website it is, what the anchor text is that they want from this link, when it was created, the status of that link. They're going back and constantly checking all of that just to make sure everything's still in line. They're writing down who on their team was responsible for setting that up. Well, now we're doing all that for you. We're making it easy for you to manage all of that information. With just a click of a button, we have a Firefox toolbar, so even if you're just browsing the web and you say, hey, this would be an awesome site for us to get a link from, you just click the Add Link button, and we're going to try and fill out as much of that information for you as we can. But a bonus thing is, we'll tell you if somebody on your team has already added that link to the system, right? So let's say I'm working with a client. From the monitor perspective, this is really good for monitoring the links. So you set up all these links, right? And even if you just sent a request out, you're doing so much of this that it's hard to keep track and always have time to go back and say, all right, was this link set up? What happened to this link? Is it still there? Did they hold up their end of an agreement? Maybe you gave them some content in exchange for this link. Maybe you paid for this link. However you go about doing your online marketing, we want to take that burden off your shoulders. So we have link monitoring, which is a really cool feature, which basically what happens is even if you just requested a link, we're going to keep going back and checking to see if that link is established. And if it is, we'll automatically update your system, so you don't have to go back there and see if that's there. If a link is established, we'll check it once a month to make sure nothing has happened to that link that would affect the value. Maybe they changed the anchor text of it. Maybe they moved it. They added more links to that page. The page rank of it changed. Anything that happens to that link, we're going to let you know about it, so you don't have to go back there and do it. And what's cool is since we have, back in that manage section, we have a list of all that information from that link. You can go back there, if they did change something, and say, hey, we have a deal. We have in there, you can associate content that you gave them. So you can say, hey, I gave you this blog post. It was set up on this day. We had this agreement. We have notes in there that allow you to really customize all the information that you want to have behind that. So if you do need to go after them, you have everything at your fingertips. It won't take as much time out of your day. You can just email them right through the system and say, all right, what's going on here? Now, actually, going back to the manage section, one thing that I forgot to have is we have two cool things which we're actually working on building out even further, and that's the contact manager and the website directory. So the idea behind that is, if you're a consultant and you're doing work for multiple clients, there's going to be some overlap every now and then. That goes back to saying, hey, do I already have a link from this website? Well, in the contact directory, if you ever just want to look up a website name or just a person, well, we have all that information easily accessible, so you can say, well, what sites does Matt Cutts own that I want to go back and say, all right, hey, he's got 3 different sites that we could possibly get links from. We'll have all the relationship information that you have in there. You could store his email address, his social media accounts in there. Everything that you want to know about this guy, you could access in Raven. Same with the website directory, and this goes account-wide, so it really helps speed up that whole research side of things if you are working on multiple websites. And I think one of the things that really sets us apart is that we have reporting. Every single aspect of our tool set you can report on. And we take it one step further, we give you the ability to white label it. You can white label the entire tool set. We can host this on your own domain. I mean, you can cut us out of the picture completely. So if you are an agency, and when I worked at Infusion, this is what we did. We set up a custom domain that was seo.infusion.com. You have a white label login page. You can go in there. I customize the colors. I mean, every single aspect of that tool set you can change so that when I do give access to my clients, because that is something you can do. You have an unlimited amount of read-only access you can be passing out. I can say, hey, when you log in, and I only want them to see the ranking report so they don't have to bug me every week to see where they're ranking, they could do that, and they're not seeing Raven, so they don't know that you're using a third-party tool set. Now, if you're an in-house team, that might not be as important, but the reporting aspect of it is because we can automate reporting for you. You can schedule reports. So if you have a boss that says, hey, I want to see where we're ranking every week, and I want to see the links that you built every month, you can set up a report that will pull all that information for you. You set it up once, set it to automatically pull, and we can do all the rest of the work for you. You'll receive an email at whatever day you say you want the report, at whatever frequency, and it'll have everything in there for you. All right, let me go back to a couple of these screenshots. So, all right, so this is our dashboard. And again, if you want to play around with this, it's a 30-day trial. It's free. You don't need a credit card or anything. You just put in your email address and you can start playing around with the system. The idea behind the dashboard is we wanted to give you a nice snapshot of how your campaign is going. All of this is fluid. You can be moving this around, adding different modules that you want to see on there, customize this as much as you want. This is really good for clients too, because, or your boss. If you give them that read-only access, they can log in there and say, hey, I just want to see how our Twitter account's going. You could turn off access to the rest of these tools and just give them this dashboard so they can log in at any time and just see that. You really have that kind of control. And even people on your team, you can say, hey, I want you to see the dashboard and I want you to see our social tools. You don't need to see anything else. And that's really useful when you are outsourcing. So you have those options there. Our social media tools, just to give you an example of the kind of cool things you can do. For Facebook and Twitter, you can schedule updates. So if you are managing multiple fan pages or you are managing multiple Twitter accounts, it can get kind of cumbersome to make sure that for Facebook, maybe you know that Fridays at 4 p.m. is the best time for you to be posting to your wall. That's when all of your users are on there and you really want to get your message in front of them. So if you schedule those updates, you can ensure that it was posted at the right time. You can respond to comments. You never have to leave Raven because that's the goal, right? You can say, hey, I'm managing 5 different accounts. I don't need to have log into my own Facebook account and maybe we have another Facebook account we need to get into. Just do it all from here. Set all this up in the morning and then forget about it. It's all going to be posted on there. Being able to respond to it, that's even bringing on the cake. With Twitter, being able to, you can actually tie in your own URL shortener. So if you have a custom URL shortener, like Bitly, for example, I mean, we can tie in their API, but if you customize that one step further, we were just experimenting with one that we just set up, and we tie it in there. So ours is going to be raven.im, and we're way behind on getting into that game. But I can say, all right, no matter what I set up, as long as we have API access to it, we can pull it into the tool set so you can start using that. So you're keeping that branding that you want to see across all your social media accounts. From an analytics perspective, we've integrated Google Analytics into the system, which has been really key for us to give you extra insight into the various tools. If you wanted to see how much traffic you're getting from your fan page or from your Twitter accounts, and actually be able to see that in the same graph as the total number of users that you have. I mean, we can do all that for you in the system. We're taking all that heavy lifting that you would have to, recreate in Excel, and then we're just a snapshot. You just head over to that tool and you'll be able to see it right here. And then we start combining different tools, right? So, one of the things that we really wanted to do, we have standard ranking checkers everywhere, right? We wanted to give you more insight into that. We have Google Analytics integrated in there, so I can say, all right, it's great that we're ranking #1, and we're spending all this time building links for it, and I can track and see, all right, we've built 20 different links using this anchor text. We can see that in the system. Are people coming to my site? Are they converting? We want to be able to see that information. So we have your traffic data in the SERP Tracker snapshot. So you can turn that on. You can see your competitor side by side. So you can say, hey, we spent the last 10 hours of our actual working time focusing on this keyword, and it's sending us like 50 visitors a month. I mean, that's not helpful at all. But this other keyword that we haven't been spending as much time on, so maybe it's ranking #11, and it's already doubled that amount of traffic to our site. So maybe if we shift focus over there, we might be able to drive even better results for our site or for our client. So you have those options. Or when you are looking at your analytics in this snapshot, I can see how my traffic spikes correlate with my rankings. So I can say, hey, when we worked hard to get you to have that huge spike, in this case Bing, and we got you up to whatever position, this is the result we had from that traffic. So that's really useful stuff for you to go and take to your client. You could even just send them this report, and they'll be able to see all that for you so that you can, again, justify all the work that you're doing during the trial.